Hello YouTube, it's been a while. Want to give an update. It's been a while, I haven't made a video. And like always, I'm not an investment advisor, so don't follow any of my advice. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so looking at the markets, 5% inflation is what we got right now. Jay Powell supposedly has said that he's thinking about pausing rates at 5% inflation, and next month they're going to debate whether to raise the debt ceiling, which makes it interesting because if Jay Powell pauses rates now and they increase the debt ceiling, then you're looking at probably high 4%, 5% being the bottom for the inflation rate, which is a pretty high number. Fed wants 2%, but that doesn't look likely to me. And there's a lot of banks that in Wall Street don't see it as a likely scenario that 2% can be achieved. So by the looks of it, we're going to have high inflation moving forward. I'm currently on Bitcoin miners. That to me makes the most sense right now. Bitcoin corrected to 16K last year, and it's been going back up. It's based on the golden cross. It's got the 50 moving average is above the 200-day moving average. It's been making higher lows, higher highs, and right now it's at about 27K. So it's at a good spot. And Bitcoin miners have crashed like 90, 95, 98%, most of them, or at least some. So to me, that has huge upside potential. In addition to the fact that next year is the halving event for Bitcoin, and so we got high inflation. We got Biden that doesn't know what he's doing. We got a lot of uncertainty on the market right now. Based on VT, the ETF, what I did see is that it's got an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So it looks pretty strong to me. The 50-day moving average is also above the 200, so it's got a golden cross, and it's making higher lows, higher highs. So if that represents world stocks and U.S. stocks, then it's looking bullish to me. There's been so much talk about recession this, recession that, but as time goes on, I've learned that you kind of might want to go against what the mainstream media says, what the news says. That would be the most likely scenario based on my point of view. So we've had a bunch of recession news. Even the Fed has been talking about a mild recession, but the charts show something different. The charts look pretty good to me. Last year, 2022, the Nasdaq crashed. I don't know, what was it, 30, 40%. So it formed the base, and it's just been going back up. Microsoft doesn't show any signs of stopping. Apple doesn't show any signs of stopping. They just keep going up. So I don't know. I mean, on a long-term point of view, I think U.S. stocks are very undervalued. Based on how much potential companies have and how many unlocked, how many technologies still haven't been unlocked, and how they manage their economies and their laws and everything. I don't know. I just think that's the case for U.S. stocks. But like I said, I'm not an investment advisor, so don't follow anything that I say. I'm just giving out my point of views. Yeah. There's this one company I really like on the Bitcoin mining sector, and by the way, it's super volatile. Okay, it can go up to $1 and then crash back down to 50 cents in a matter of a couple weeks. But there is great potential there for long term, and there is great potential for day traders or swing traders. And I think it's pretty cool because SDIG, Stronghold Digital Mining, they have a two-way business, and it's basically an arbitrage business. So they mine Bitcoin, but then they also capture coal. They call it coal refuse in Pennsylvania. So for the past century, when coal was being used and burned, it got dumped into Pennsylvania over huge mountains. They say there's over 800 mountains, and each one measures about 100 feet top to bottom. So this thing got left over in Pennsylvania, and it's toxic to wildlife, it's toxic to the environment, to people, because they say when it rains, it goes to groundwater, it goes to rivers, and it's I believe it's sulfur, so it damages the ecosystem, right? And people that drink water in Pennsylvania will have to have it very filtered. So this company SDIG is taking this coal refuse, they're burning it, and they're mining Bitcoin when it's profitable to mine Bitcoin with that energy. And when it's not profitable, what they do is they sell that energy back to the grid, to the Pennsylvania electric grid. So what they do is they look at the market, they choose what's more profitable, and depending on what's more profitable, they sell their energy to the grid, or they mine Bitcoin, right? Not only that, but they also have the option of importing electricity from the Pennsylvania grid whenever they find that the electric grid prices are cheaper than their cost to produce energy. So they're basically arbitraging all three of those. So if you think about it, it's like an energy company. On the other side is a Bitcoin company. So you get an exposure to both, which, if you're looking to protect yourself against inflation, then it makes perfect sense, right? Because we know, or at least from what I've seen, an inflation hedge would be energy, right? Energy prices go up when inflation is high. Bitcoin prices go up when energy goes high and when there's high inflation. So you got a strange combination of all types of things there. And it's being run by Greg Beard. I looked at his profile on LinkedIn. I listened to a couple videos of him. I like the guy. He's got a very nice background, well-rounded. He was I believe he was a director in Apollo Investment Management. Sorry. And he was he's been working most of his life, or part of his life, in the energy sector. So he's like the perfect guy to have as a CEO for the company. So the thing is, this company SDIG, You could say it's an arbitrage Bitcoin mining energy company. It is it's vertically integrated. That's what they call it. Vertically integrated means that the company itself produces their energy and they mine Bitcoin, right? So from ground up. There's, I believe, 2 companies only or at least of the ones that are listed on the stock exchange, right? There's GREE, and that's GREE, and there's SDIG. So those 2, I believe, are the only vertically integrated miners. So I like them. I like SDIG the most. Vertically integrated, so they're able to cut their costs and keep a control of their costs, while other miners, they have to depend on how much the energy grids sell them energy for, right? So they can't have a perfect control over their costs. According to what I heard from Greg Beard, these mountains in Pennsylvania got about 15 years left to mine all of them, to remove all that coal. So there's plenty and enough time for that. They also have one of their plants. So there's 2 plants in Pennsylvania. One of them has 600 acres, which the company owns, and in their last investor presentation, they were talking about the potential of putting renewable energy on those 600 acres. I don't know the details, and they didn't mention too much about it. They just said that if they were to do something with that, it would be next year or starting next year, 2024. So there's a lot of things there. I like the company. Only issue is the debt. They got a bit too much debt. They got 60 million, but they do have, I believe it's 10 million cash. But they are producing a lot of Bitcoins per day. I believe it was about $150,000 per day, $150,000 per day, and they will not have to pay any of their debt notes till July 2024, I believe. So they've got plenty of time to keep mining and taking that money in and use it for other stuff. So yeah, about all these details, you would have to verify them. I'm just, remembering what I heard, what I read. But yeah, that to me is a very interesting one. In addition to that, they're producing more per year in revenue. They're having more revenue per year than their market cap, and just the plant itself, or plants, if I'm not mistaken, it's about $500 million, but the company is at about 50 million, if I'm not mistaken right now, $50 million. So just on the, just on the plant, it's worth more than the market cap. So I think it's undervalued, and it already crashed, like 98% from when it had its IPO. Bitcoin crash. So basically what's left for SDIG is, a rally. If all sellers sold, that's pretty much the only thing you get now, buyers, right? Yeah, I think that one, I like it. But take a look at it, and yeah, tell me what you think. Post in the comments. If you can, post strange things going on in the markets right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. I can see it in the charts. Charts have gone sideways for a very long time, and banks have been falling, which in fact that's bullish for Bitcoin, because banks not being able to cover their depositors, right? It's bullish for Bitcoin. But of course, we have had the Federal Reserve, which has been covering depositors far and above the $215,000 that the FDIC says. So they're basically doing stuff that they shouldn't be, right? The problem with covering all depositors' money is that there are 17 to 18 trillion dollars of depositors' dollars in banks right now in the U.S. And let's just say hypothetically, if all banks were to fall, which obviously now that would be chaotic, but let's just assume, right? The Federal Reserve would have to print that much amount of money, 18 trillion, and that would be very inflationary in an already high inflation environment. So it's not ideal. Like, covering over $250,000 is not ideal in this high inflation scenario. But banks have been falling, like dominoes. So we'll see what happens. Michael Burry, interestingly, bought bank stocks. I don't understand the logic behind that. I have to look into that. I know he's a contrarian, but I mean, how much of a contrarian do you want to be before losing your shirt, right? That's pretty risky. Like, it's not something I would do. Not banks, at least, And one moment. So yeah, take a look at what Michael Burry did and why he did that. I think it's interesting. That guy is interesting. He does a bunch of weird stuff with the stocks, and yeah. What else? Anyways, just let me know what you think. Post some comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Watch my other videos. Enjoy. Have a